It's a dilemma with all the health information being handed us from family, friends, even online. We felt it was only right to bring back our favorite doctor to put all those rumors to rest, as well as how to know when you are receiving false health information. So we're going to ask Dr. Rupy about it. It's everywhere. Nice to see you here.
Nice to see you too. Yes, so we are living in such an awesome time of information at our fingertips. And that can be wonderful, but it can also lead to a little bit of confusion of finding reliable and credible resources, especially for our health information.
And there's always, this is a new thing,
yes.
you know, or celebrities are attached to it. So
yes.
there's a whole web to get through.
There is. So these days, increasingly, folks are turning to their favorite celebrities and social media influencers. There's a lot of wellness gurus that are self-proclaimed, don't necessarily have the credentials. And I think it's really important to look at who the person is, where they're coming from, what their incentive is to share this information. Oftentimes there is an agenda, whether it's to sell or promote an item or to promote a book or whatnot. So really looking at who am I listening to, where am I getting my information from, and taking that into consideration when paying attention or taking any advice.
Okay, so we've been hearing some interesting things that we're going to just get through, and you're going to do it as a doctor, too.
Yes.
You have a Hype Health, so walk us through some of the things we're hearing about.
So one of the fads that I've been hearing about is the jade vaginal eggs. And so these are basically things that folks are inserting in themselves. And anytime you are inserting an object, it is really important to vet what that object is and the potentials for infection.
Wow.
And so some of these things can be dangerous. Other things, such as the fat of celery juice, might not necessarily be as dangerous, but there's no evidence behind it, just as there isn't with the jade eggs either. There are so many fads these days. I feel like I'm constantly coming across the latest. And I have a lot of my patients asking me, well, what about this? What about this supplement? Or what about this new thing that I heard about from my favorite celebrity? Well, a lot of those are not based on scientific evidence. And so knowing where to look as far as studies, looking at credentials of the folks that are sharing them, those are all important pieces. And we're going to get into where to find some reliable sources of information as well. But one of the pieces I want to stress are supplements and anything that you're putting inside of your body. The FDA does not necessarily approve those items like they do for drugs or medications that we take. And so they might not necessarily be vetted, or they might not be safe. So I know essential oils have become huge.
Yeah,
I see them everywhere. And essential oils, just because they're natural, doesn't necessarily mean they're safe. Some of them can actually be endocrine disruptors, meaning they disrupt our hormones.
Wow.
So some, such as lavender oil and tea tree oil, have actually been linked to prepubescent boys developing breast tissue.
Oh, boy. All right. So here you think you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You're doing some good with some herbal oils.
Exactly. So just really important that we are cognizant that whatever we're putting on our bodies, it can affect the medications we're taking, they can affect our hormones. Really important to vet the information and pass it by your primary care provider. That is going to be your best resource.
Okay, and then you're talking about those harmful fads.
Yeah, so as we talked about essential oils, supplements, again, using the trusted and well-known brands for supplements and even oils. I don't ever say don't use these items. I think, you know, these are great supplement, you know, there's things that you can supplement or are complementary to our regular medications or whatever we're doing for our health, but being an informed consumer is an important piece of this. Now, the raw water diets and these fad drastic diets can be very dangerous. So if you're ever interested or you want to learn more, talk to your primary care provider about it.
And there's also so much information.
Yes.
On the flip side, are there some credible sources that you mentioned?
There are. So I hold this very near and dear to my heart because my patients, I want to make sure they're informed consumers of healthcare and that they get the best information possible. Some of these sources that I always have them go to are the CDC, the NIH. These are government-run websites, and there are other sources like the Mayo Clinic or even a site called UpToDate has very reliable and credible information. Now, my own website, drrupy.com, I will link some of these lists on there. There are other folks, even on social media, that can be trusted to have to be a good resource for information.
I was going to say drrupy.com.
Yes.
So first one I put on there, but absolutely CDC and everything else. And ask Dr. Rupy.
Yes, anytime. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Nice to have you here as always.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Coming up.